Modern day society feeling so bleak for so many, just the simple dread of waking up to tomorrow's alarm clock to repeat another day of what feels like misery is enough to make them want to throw themselves off a cliff. In this video, we're going to continue the discussion surrounding why adulthood used to feel so freeing, while nowadays it feels like a prison cell trapped within payment after payment. Now, despite which generation you find yourself in or which tax bracket you fall into, don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions down below regarding anything discussed in today's video, and I want to give a huge shout out to thank you guys checking out those links down below in the description. Those are always some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. I've currently been experiencing a rough time. You can check out the details to those measures in my community tab post recently, and I want to appreciate everybody who's been reaching out through those measures. So God bless all you guys. Now, let's begin this shit show, shall we?
I don't know if it's just my For You page or if you guys are seeing it too, but there's been some discourse about elder millennials in general kind of having what they're calling Peter Pan syndrome. I've seen some other creators talking about this, but honestly, I feel like millennials, particularly the younger millennials, they're kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place, in that we are in an economically weird state, and I think it has enabled just like this extended adolescence. Like, sure, I think there's a lot of like immaturity in life happening, but I feel like in some ways there's a ceiling that people are running into, and I feel like they're just kind of loitering in this zone, whereas previous generations kind of had to advance. So you look at some of this older generations, like the silent generation, things like that. By my age, some of them had like multiple children. I don't even own my own home. Housing is more expensive. Pay has stagnated. Inflation's insane. The dating market is its own separate video right there. People are more educated than ever before. All of this is leading to like this delayed onset of adulthood. It's really freaking weird. And you know what? Who's to say we aren't redefining what adulthood looks like? Maybe adulthood doesn't look like kids in home anymore. I don't know.
Now, as modern generations are starting to approach their midlife crisis and middle ages, they're starting to have to settle down. They're starting to want to settle down. They're starting to think about the ways how they'll never be able to settle down, and they can't afford to. How they're working these jobs don't really feel like careers. They feel like just petty jobs, whether that's gas stations, convenience stores. Hey, maybe doing Uber Eats and DoorDash on the weekends, and now that market is also oversaturated that even trying to make any sort of pennies through these means feels damn near unreliable. And then when taxes come into play, we used to rely on these, tax breaks or, taxes at the, start of the year, the middle of the year to get these, returns. But now it feels as if it's always a scam and you end up paying way more than you end up getting back. So you kind of feel like we're all living in this system that never really is for us. It feels like it's for everybody else. And we never really know who we're helping, because it really feels like everybody around us is just as struggling as we are. So you kind of look to your peers, you look at your elders, you look at the future generations, and there's really no hope in sight for pretty much any people at all in this conversation.
My favorite part about living in the US is that everything slowly but surely gets worse while also getting more expensive, and that shit really keeps me on my toes.
You know what's terrifying to me? It's how heartless and cold a lot of people have become. How we've literally gotten to a point in our society where we don't give a shit about each other anymore. Like, how did it get this bad? How did it get to a point where if you're not working all of your waking hours 7 days a week, then you're not worthy of having anything? A lot of people have this mindset that working and putting in all of these hours is some type of a flex. I put in 95 hours this week, get on my level, big brah. I put in 120, so I deserve things more than you do. We're not machines, and it's kind of scary that we look at one another like we're machines. You can only work so much and so hard until your mind, body, and spirit literally breaks the fuck down, and then you literally have no other choice but to rest. But hey, keep telling that person that they don't deserve anything.
Now, how many of you guys find yourself having to work multiple jobs, having to do Uber on the weekends, DoorDash after work? If you read through a lot of the comments, which I do casually, it seems like a lot of you guys can relate to these measures. And I personally found myself having to work 2 or 3 jobs ever since I graduated high school. Even before I graduated high school, I've personally come from a poor background, so I've always kind of had to support myself in certain ways, and so it's never really been uncommon to have multiple jobs. Now in modern day, it seems as if that's kind of the common for everybody. It feels as if you don't have multiple jobs, how do you even really get by? Now you're probably racking up that debt, but you're kind of just putting more hurdles on your future self while dodging them right now in current times. So, do you really feel like there's really any solution for these current modern situations, or are we just going to continuously rack up debt, putting our current luxuries on the back of future generations who, if we can't afford homes, how do you think they're going to be able to afford homes? If we can't afford to, keep our jobs and, have enough time for ourselves, how are they going to be able to do so, and what's the plan for them in the future? I mean, our parents told us to go to college and take out all this debt. Now we have these jobs, we can't get jobs with these degrees, and we can't even really pay off that debt. So how is that going to go for the next generations? I love your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments. Not that I have solutions, but I like to stir up these conversations regarding these said matters.
So what happened to our generation that we haven't grown up? Why are we stuck in this weird purgatory? There has to be a deep-rooted reason why our generation especially are so nostalgic. Like, we have a millennial ache inside of us. It's just about millennials thinking that they look younger than they are. So many of us feel that we're not actually grown-ups, and I'm not joking. Like, I genuinely do not know how I am this age, because I haven't ever fully grown up. I've just accidentally gained positions of responsibility. People perceive me to be a grown-up. I'm now raising children, and I don't know that I'm qualified for that. And I joke about it all the time, but I don't know where the stopcock is. I couldn't repair a bike puncture. I don't have a pension plan. Maybe I'm in denial or I'm delusional, but if someone comes to read the meter, I don't know where the meter is. I'm always looking for the nearest responsible adult. I'm not the decision maker. I'm not a grown-up. Because we grew up straddling the analog and the digital worlds. Like, we grew up before technology really blew up. I remember when we got our first family computer and we got the internet. It was dial-up, and we had chat rooms, but we didn't have social media. Now everything has just been touched and ruined by technology. And our generation, I fondly recall my childhood so much, and I say that I had the best childhood ever. But then why am I doing such a different job now raising my children? Why have I changed so much? And I'm genuinely frightened that my children have grown up only knowing a world that is so touched by, I know the irony of it, that I'm talking on a social media app right now on a smartphone, but I feel frightened of the future and of AI, the way that the world is going. My children have only ever known that, and I want to take me and my children back to the safe place. Why do so many of us feel like this?
Being that modern day feels so shitty. If you read the news headlines, if you check your social media accounts, even if you talk to your coworkers at work, or your peers and your friends and your family. I mean, hell, we're gonna have Thanksgiving approaching here a couple days here in the States, and I've a very likely occurrence, I feel like it's pretty good odds, that the majority of you guys are going to be talking about doomer commentaries the same way my channel is very much related to overall throughout your family dinners and your family get-togethers and your family meetups. So feel free to let me know down below which topics you feel you're going to be bringing up and which topics you're going to be trying to avoid. Well, I mostly try to avoid holidays altogether because I kind of don't really enjoy the fake propaganda that is the family structure that really isn't really so traditional nowadays. It's more of a fake facade that we're trying to make for Facebook propaganda. Wrap up another video discussing how each generation seems to be more screwed than the last, and despite which generation you find yourself in or which tax bracket you fall into, don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. I always love to check those out and respond to them as I see fit, as well as I always want to give a large amount of acknowledgement to the handful of you guys checking out those links down below in the description as well. Those are always some of the best ways to support me in the content around here, and I definitely want to show a lot of appreciation to the handful of you guys who have been doing that lately, being that I have been kind of experiencing a rough season in my life lately. Again, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, you can check out my recent community tab post to see further details on those measures. But again, I want to appreciate that. And again, even if you guys just show up and check out the content every day, it's more than free, and that is for sure some of the best ways to support me. So God bless. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of like I got for this one, so I hope to see you in the next one, and that's it. So